Burauen, Burauen IPA, Burauen, officially the Municipality of Burauen Waray, Bungto Han Burauen, Tagalog, Bayan Burauen, is a first-class municipality in the province of Leyte, Philippines. According to the 2020 census, it has a population of 52,511 people. Geography. Burauen is located in the central part of Leyte Island, bounded to the north by Dagami and Taban, on the east by Julita, south by Lapis, and on the west by Albura and Ormoc City. Barangays. Burauen is politically subdivided into 77 barangays. Climate. History. Etymology. The name Burauen evolved from the word haru, which means spring. This is because Burauen is the fountainhead of several rivers, the Big Daguetan and Maribong rivers, the Guinarona and Hibuga rivers that pass through several neighboring towns as well as several smaller ones. The legend behind the name speaks of a drought when several tributaries of these rivers dried up, forcing people to flock to a cluster of large springs in the town. The place was duly called Burauen, which, according to Justice Norberto Lopez Romualdez Sr., is the multiplicative construction of the word haru spring, which indicates abundance. Over the years, the name Burauen, having many springs, evolved into Burauen and finally into Burauen. Early settlers. Clandestine diggings conducted by antique hunters and verified by the National Museum archaeologists yield valuable artifacts consisting of chinaware and jars. Some of the discoveries were Stone Age artifacts and implements. These antiques and artifacts were found on the plateaus of both sides of the Cag-Alolo Brook of Barangay Patag and Villa Aurora, which were about 16 kilometers southwest of the poblacion of Burauen. Similar artifacts were found in Barangay Paghudlan, which is 12 kilometers from the Cag-Alolo. The earlier diggings on the southwestern portion of the poblacion and those in Barangay Tambuco and Armason unearthed several precious antiques. With the extensive presence of these artifacts over the said areas, the past locations of the early settlements in Burauen during the prehistoric epoch are indicated. Spanish regime. The Jesuit friars discovered Burauen as settlement in the later part of 1595 when they used the community as a base in the Christianization of the central part of Leyte. Between years 1609 to 1616, Burauen was the most populous town of Leyte and Samarang, and it consistently registered the highest tax collection during the same period in the region. From Burauen, the settlers were told by the Jesuit missionaries to transfer to Armason, meaning a trading place, that is at the same time a granary, presently a sitio of Barangay Libas, which was similarly named today. Due to frequent flooding of the area by the Guinarona River, and to facilitate their reduction de los visitas, they transferred to the site of the present Barangay Malacca, and led by Tamdin and his brother Hangdan, who were the children of the last Raja. Filipino-American War. The short-lived Philippine Republic proclaimed on June 12, 1898, face a new enemy, the American, who were pursuing their so-called manifest destiny. The troops of the Revolutionary Army under General Ambrosio Mojica, realizing that their fortification of Estaques bamboo palisades around the poblacion of Burauen were weak, they forced to withdraw to the. Several encounters occurred during the Filipino-American War. The American burned the poblacion on July 4, 1900. This incident made Burauen one of the strongholds of the Pilahan dissidents. With the cessation of hostilities, the people devoted their efforts to the reconstruction of their homes and expansion of their farms to usher progress of the municipality. The productive endeavors of the people lured many enterprises to the town. The first electric system and cinematographic house in Leyte and Samar were established in Burauen in 1916. In 1928, Burauen Academy, the first secondary school in the municipality, was founded. The different municipal administrations of the time were able to put up irrigation system in 1912. Constructed a big public market in 1918. erect a concrete municipal building in 1925 and build concrete school building in 1928. The income of the municipality in 1918 to 1928 was bigger than the income of the whole province of Surigao, this due to the wide area of abaca plantation of that time. This boomtown prosperity of Burauen lasted until 1929, when the Great Depression took place. World War Roman II, Min II. The outbreak of World War Roman II stunted the economic growth of Burauen. The Japanese military encamped the eastern part of the poblacion. There were many encounters between the Japanese forces and the guerrillas, who were firmly established in their mountain strongholds. During the Allied forces' liberation of Leyte on October 20, 1944, Burauen was among the most heavily devastated towns in Leyte. Thousands of civilians were killed and a number of properties were destroyed. Post-war period to present. Rising from the ruins of war, the municipality rehabilitated its homes and agriculture. In 1946, the Burauen High School was founded, followed by the rehabilitation of the Gabaldon School building and the construction and operation of the water system in 1948. The private sector contributed in the field of education. In 1950, the Burauen Institute and the Rizal colleges were founded. The progress of the town suffered a setback in the middle part of 1951, when a very strong typhoon hit Burauen, which was followed by 4 others that were equally ravaging. In 1952, despite financial hardships, the municipal government was able to repair the municipal building from its own funds, but generally, the recovery of the municipality was very slow. On March 2, 1962, the Rural Bank of Burauen was established, the first rural bank in Leyte and Samar. A decade after, on April 1, 1972, the Burauen District Hospital was opened to accept its first patient. During the intervening years and onward, road and bridges construction and street concreting in the poblacion and the Barangays alike were pursued, together with the construction of school building and health centers. The public market area as well as the irrigation system was expanded. Timeline. In 1873, from being a missionary church under the Diocese of Dagami, Burauen was carved out and declared as a separate town. In 1918, La Paz detached itself from Burauen to become an independent municipality. In 1949, or just a few years after World War II, President Elpidio Quirino issued an Executive Order No. 278 separating Leyte from Burauen. It was on March 2, 1962, when the Rural Bank of Burauen was established, making it the very first rural bank in both islands of Samar and Leyte. When a German ethnologist and explorer came to Burauen in 1859 to 1860, he witnessed how sulfur was extracted, processed using coconut oil, and transported to Manila, where it was sold between $1 and $5 per pico. But the sulfur discovery was already reported 200 years earlier, in 1961, by a Jesuit priest named Fr. Francisco Camez. Demographics. In the 2020 census, the population of Burauen, Leyte was 52,511 people, with a density of 200 inhabitants per square kilometer or 522 inhabitants per square mile. Its population in 2015 comprised 3.1% of the total population of Leyte excluding Tacloban City. It grew at the rate of 1.46% annually from 2010 to 2015, which is higher by 1.12 percentage points from its population growth rate in 2000 to 2010 of 0.35%. The household population of Burauen totaled to 52,548 persons in 2015, which is 7.9% higher than its count in 2010 at 48,711 persons. Majority or 99.7% of the total population of Burauen in 2015 are household population. The remaining 0.3% or 184 persons comprised institutional population or those residing in collective or institutional living quarters such as hospitals, rehabilitation centers, orphanages, hotels, motels, inns, lodging houses, dormitories, military camps, corrective and penal institutions. Logging. The number of households in 2015 reached 12,577, higher by 1983 households from 10,594 in 2010. The average household size in Burauen declined from 4.6 in 2010 to 4.2 in 2015. This municipality posted the 10th highest number of households in Leyte in 2015. The estimated total land area of Burauen was 265.33 square kilometers as per data from the Land Management Bureau of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources. The resulting population density in 2015 posted at 199 persons per square kilometer, higher than in 2000 and 2010 at 178 and 184 persons per square kilometer, respectively. Of the 77 barangays of Burauen Barangay Poblacion District Roman, 3 registered the biggest population, with 2,565 persons in 2015, or 4.9% of the municipality's total population. The remaining barangays which completed the top 10 barangays in terms of population were Poblacion District Roman 92530, Poblacion District VI 2162. Poblacion District Roman 4 2099, Poblacion District Roman 2 1671, Poblacion District I 1614, Arado 13. These barangays also recorded with the highest number of households. Meanwhile, Barangay Gitablan recorded the smallest population in 2015 with 139 persons, which accounted 0.3% of the total population of Burauen. The remaining barangays which completed the bottom 10 barangays in terms of population were Balaksan 181, Caparasan 211, Laguin 230, San Fernando 236, Damulo and 242, Buenavista 245, Humpa East 253, Cali 2. The top three fastest growing barangays of Burauen in terms of population growth rate from 2010. The rest of the barangays which completed the top 10 fastest growing barangays were Balornay, Cagayan, Taghayan, Canaslagan, Catahonan, San Esteban, and Esperanza, with PGR ranging from 4.96% to 6.45%. Economy. Burauen mostly relies on agriculture, being situated in the central part of Leyte, where coconuts, rice, vegetables, and many kinds of root crops are abundant. Commerce and trade also play big roles in contributing to the town's economy. According to the Cities and Municipalities Competitiveness Index report, Burauen has been consistently one of the top performers in the region and the province since the ranking started in 2013. The town has held the top position in the province since 2017. It is the only municipality in the province to have held the top spot for 3 consecutive years, and it has been consistently in the top 10 since CMACI started in 2013. Cities and Municipalities Competitiveness Index. Overall rank. 2019. Provincial rank 1st. National rank 186th. 2018. Provincial rank 1st. National rank 303rd. 2017. Provincial rank 1st. National rank 93rd. 2016. Provincial rank 6th. National rank 414th. 2015. Provincial rank 3rd. National rank 420th. 2014. Provincial rank 3rd. National rank 182. Infrastructure. According to the 2019 Cities and Municipalities Competitiveness Index, Burauen posted the highest score in the province and second in the region in terms of infrastructure quality and development. Tourism. The local government unit of Burauen has been consulting with industry experts on how to develop the town's ecotourism sites in a sustainable manner to carry out the Burauen Ecotourism and Sustainable Tourism Best Project. With extensive promotion and backing of experts, Burauen is off to a good start in its goal to market and cement the town's status as the spring capital of Leyte. Other identified ecotourism sites are in the villages of Matinao, Tambis, Villarosas of Bayan, Cansaboy, and Cagbana. These areas are seen as an addition to Mahagnao Volcano Natural Park, a site proclaimed as a national park in 1937. Notable persons supporting the initiative are former actress and UN Sustainable Development Goals advocate Antoinette Taus, former Tourism Secretary Mina Gabber, and ASEAN Center for Biodiversity Director Mundita Lim. Attractions: Mahagnao Volcano Natural Park. Burauen's upland territories are composed of wetland forests that contain thousands of century-old trees, unique species of birds and mammals, plants and marine species mostly scattered inside Mahagnao Volcano Natural Park. It is also has with many natural sites such as lakes, mountain ranges, rivers, waterfalls, hot springs, and a volcano. MVNT has an elevation of 1,200 meters above sea level and an area of 635 hectares within the boundaries of Burauen, La Paz, and MacArthur towns. Mahagnao Volcano. Mahagnao Volcano is a dormant volcano located in Barangay Mahagnao, more than 30 km away from the town proper. Although the volcano has been inactive, it is still classified as potentially active due to the active thermal features of the mountain. Tourists are allowed to hike on its peak. Malagsam Lake. This lake is smaller compared to the other one. It is a highly acidic lake, which contains high level of sulfuric acid, making it impossible for marine lives or some organisms to thrive, except for the hundreds to thousands of wild ducks, making it as breeding ground or a home for migratory birds during migrating season. Mahagnao Lake. This lake serves as the main source of marine products for the locals and also the center of its tourism activities. Several resorts owned privately or by community associations are on the lakeshore. Matigbao Lake. It is the smallest of the three lakes inside the park, but it is also the farthest and the most challenging to have a trek. Due to being isolated, the environment is quite different from what commonly seen in the rest of the park. There are numerous species of plants and insects thriving within the vicinity, such as dragonflies. Calor Hot Spring. The spring is just located at the southern foot of the volcano. It was a system of springs heated by an active thermal feature, thus creating a hot spring that merges to another system of spring, creating a river of hot spring. Kinanabin Falls. The waterfall is located few kilometers on the southeast. It is the water from the Mahagnao Lake which is passing to systems of rivers, then merge before approaching on the mouth of the cliff, creating a waterfall that directly flow on the larger river called Marabong. Religion. Like the Philippines as a whole, Burauen is also a predominantly Catholic town that traces its origin way back during the early period of Spanish colonialism. It all started when the Jesuits arrived in the Philippines in 1590. They came to Leyte and established a temporary residence in Dulag in 1595. The Dulag rector Fr. Pascual de Cunha started apostolic work in Burauen in 1622, Redondo 1886. It seemed to have been an embryonic missionary outpost for so many years because Fr. Francisco Collins wrote in 1663 that Dagami had only 10 villages with their own churches. Burauen was not one of them. A 1767 royal, the Jesuits' possessions were forfeited except for the Obras Pies. The Diocese of Cebu, which had jurisdiction over Lake Samar, refused to recognize the Jesuits' mission pueblos as parishes, even if the pueblos had functioned as parishes, some for at least a century, says Lake Samar historian Rolando Baranaga. I assume this would have been the time that Burauen's pueblo mission status was demoted to a visita of Dulag, because at that time Burauen was already a pueblo with its own parish priest Baranaga, 2020. The oldest entries in Buraun's records date back to June 3, 1804, during the time of Augustinian Fr. Pedro Gomez's parish priest Redondo, 1886. In his Estado Geográfico published in 1865, the Franciscan friar Fr. Felix Huerta wrote that Buraun formally separated from its mother parish in Dulag in 1844 with Fr. Francisco Lopez as its parish priest. Given the rivalry between the Jesuits and the Franciscans and the alliance of Augustinians and Franciscans, Fr. Huerta, like the diocese of Cebu, did not seem to acknowledge Buraun as a Jesuits' Pueblo mission. From the river, Fr. Lopez oversaw the transfer and construction of a new Augustinian-led church to a new site presumably at the present-day location made of hardwood posts with double paneling of planks and Nieper roofing 186 fall. With Buraun right smack on a typhoon path, the structure would not survive long. Currently, the under-construction New Buraun, Late Immaculate Conception Catholic Church is slowly taking shape. Once finished, the church would be of a neo-Gothic design, which features geometric decorative designs and decorative blocks. Healthcare. Buraun healthcare needs are served by both the private and government-owned health institutions. Buraun District Hospital managed by the provincial government of Leyte. Buraun Rural Health Unit managed by the LGU of Buraun. Barangay health centers with presence in each barangays of Buraun, while there are also several private health facilities that catering Burauenans and nearby towns scattered all over the poblacion. Education. Buraun's educational institutions is one of the largest when it comes to the size of enrollment and the teacher-to-student ratio. The town is served by both public and private educational institutions. Tertiary. ISU Buraun Campus, Buraun Community College, TESDA Buraun Vocational, Secondary, Buraun Comprehensive National High School BCNHS, Buraun National High School BNHS, Hebanawan National High School, Buraburan National High School. Primary. All of Buraun's 77 barangays had public primary schools that are shared and governed by the town's 3 school districts, namely Buraun North, Buraun South, and Buraun East, under the supervision of Depet Late 2nd Division. Immaculate Conception Academy of Buraun. Morningside Middle School of Buraun. Gallery.